And the last speaker for this session is Marc Serrau, and the title is Recovering Gaia Variable Stars Data Public Gaia Filters. Okay.
How it works? Thank you. First, apologies for my poor English. I want to thank you to be there. After these two very interesting works, I will speak about amateur work with the data of Gaia and what we can expect from this huge database, and especially with variable stars, sure. And after that, I will speak about a work made in France about filters that can mimic the Gaia filters, bandpass filters, and what we are expecting with them. When Gaia published the second release, I was very amazed by the data, and as my internet link at home was very bad, I wanted to have this data at home, and several of my friends have the same problem. So my goal was to build a dataset from the DDR2 first, and later with the EVS3 data, and made a database, a local database that could be used in software, like here, Prism software. It's a Swiss tool to observer. You have a sky map, you can manage observation and so on. But the Gaia catalog was not here, only with the internet link. But I want to permit to have astrometrical and photometrical data at home to do our work. Sure, later I discovered that we can have a lot of other data available. So how to do that? The data are very huge. I began to understand how it was possible to get them. I discovered that there was a Gaia source set of data, very huge, more than 600 gigabytes compressed, zipped, and but it contained all the more than 800 million stars, sources. I don't want to read all the slide, but you know there is a lot of data in these files. What to do with that? So the first thing I discovered is that the data were not, the stars were not sorted by right ascension and declination. I discovered the Hill pixel, and I don't know what to do with that. So after reading articles, papers, and with the developer of Prism, I find a method to reorder the data and get them in the original right attention and declination as we have in other catalogs. I build some softwares and to extract the data, split them in, sort them in position, and compress the data in order to have not use the database infinitely. One source is only 52 bytes, but it contains photometry, astrometry, errors, RUWE, and other data, and also links to other catalogs like TICO, Parcos, and UCAC3, thanks to Dave Herald in Australia that give me his work relative to that, to the links with from Gaia to UCAC4. But in this work, no variable first. What's the results? I take first statistic. Oh. Where I am? Yes. Statistics. This is the repartition, distribution of the source through the declinations and the number of source. I built some tools to browse the data source by source and compare them with Aladdin, for instance. But one after one, it's impossible to do that. Just for see what is in the database. And with the database, we can also, like the ESA have done, made a big picture of the full database. Well, there is no Python tools today to handle the data, but maybe in the future when I will learn Python. But there are open source tools that can give for developers who want access to this data, and I give them open source, sure. But variable, no data on variable. Voilà. But the photometry is was very amazing at first because there is no filters in Gaia. As you said earlier, the red and blue parts, blue magnitude are given by Grism in that convert the flux, the light flux in the fields on these CCDs, and we obtain spectra that are analyzed and binded into value, photometric values that gives the BP and RP values. The G values is given by the astrometric CCD in the foci plane, and so the bandpass, the theoretical bandpass of the system is that, but it evolves with the time because the instrument evolves. I think there is a function of times in the bandpass. But for DR3 and EDR3, this is the same data. And Grappa, the name of this base, is based on the EDR3 data. In the future, I will implement new value as a variable flag. It is not present today, but it's important now. Epoch photometry, so and tables that give the the variable classifier results as the first door to the variability types, and I want to make an index from maybe earlier database from GEOS to Gaia, and so we can have a link, a direct link to between the two databases. It could be interesting to have that directly, or for other catalogs. And sure, have new tables for data for specific types of variables, mainly old, but it will be huge, I think. So update the software to browse these new data and so on. Give developers access to that, and to be able to manage that. Waiting for DR4 data when available, and I expect the tsunami will be there. For variable stars, well, you give data, more interesting data. Sure, these are the main types we can expect to have data right now from the variability classifier results and other tables. And for this data, we can expect a lot of data. For these stars, we can expect a lot of data. And we have to, I will have, and you will have to learn in the future how to manage that. It will be not easy, but I think the literature will increase in the future, and we can be able to better understand what is in this data. What is so I have done some statistic too. We can retrieve some plots we found in the literature like that from your paper, I think. Yeah, there's similar curves, and the repartition of the early with the magnitude with the Gaia bands. Voilà. So these are the last results I obtained with the data for RRLI. It was the second part of my topics, my talks. I will present now another work that is related to Gaia. I present in the beginning. It is a development of filters that mimics the Gaia passbands. It was developed in France by a group of astronomers, a pro-am group in Paris, in France, with the funding of the Observatoire de Paris. It was proposed by William Twilio, Michel Delfeld, and other amateurs like Thierry Midaven and Christian Buil. First, in 2022, the goal was to develop filters that a set of filters that have the same bandpass of the Gaia, but you know the total bandpass of your system is not only done by filters but also by the sensor. So it was a try to obtain observation, to have observation with a bandpass and transmissivity very high, like the Gaia. in order to give observer the possibility to answer to Gaia alerts. When the source is faint, we have to employ filters that are narrow bands, yes, too narrow, and Gaia filters are good for that. They are very large. So, but you can do color. You can have colors too, because the BP and the RP are for that. You can have colors. So it could be interesting to use such filters. This year, the group is also focusing to produce a spectrometer, but I don't work on that. So here the bandpass of the Gaia is here, the G band. Our filters is here, and with CMOS you obtain that for the G band. For the Rapace, the BP, the GBP, Gaia BP, we are here. Gaia have the H alpha lines into the BP band, like the GRP, but our filters doesn't. And here you are the bandpass we expect. Oui, je n'ai pas dit. Here the corrected bandpass is done with a Sony IMX 571, like in several new camera, CMOS camera of today. And we made this spring. We made the first picture with these filters, and I began to analyze them and made such comparison with the Gaia values of the stars made shown in those fields. The calibration fields were Cape 10 SA 51, 57, and 68 for depending on the season you observe. But it was also always the same fields of stars. And here is the discrepancies between the filters and the Gaia values. So you see the discrepancies and the magnitude you obtain. Voilà. These are preliminary results, just out from the baking. And voilà. You are the first to show that. So my talk ends here. I want to conclude first to thank the organization of this meeting, and to say the adventure continue with the Grappa database and also with those filters. We expect to have another results and maybe one day be able to use them for answering to alerts with colors and to be able to produce data on these alerts. That's all. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Questions for Marc? One question. question.
Thank you, Marc. You indeed put a lot of work in this, and it's congratulations. You brought it to a fruitful end. I have a question. I'm not getting. You are retaining the info, the modified. I'm sorry. I lost the key word for it.
French, maybe.
Are you retaining the database you created, and you want to build a database accessible from outside, or yes. Are you willing to distribute the data?
The database is free, and I don't give the last page. Please, can you resend the files, please? At the last page of my talks, you will find a lot of links to relative to the works, sure, but also where you can find the database. It's open. Yeah, there is 2 locations, one in the Observatoire de Paris at EMCCE Center of Data, and once at home with the FTP server. So the data is freely accessible, the software too. I don't say that, but so the Prism software use the database. So when you download the software, when you buy the software, it's not free, but the software can be done. Thank you. This is these references. So there is here where you can find the database, and or here it's a term. Well, the FTP server of the EMCCE is very powerful, so I think firstly you can try it. But here papers on my works, relative to these works. So, voilà. If it answers to the question.
Merci, ça fait.
Yes, I wanted to say that also the TICO software, you don't, if you know it, it's a software that can do synthetic tracking for asteroid search, and it used this database for astrometry, doing astrometry and measurement of the position of asteroid. So it's based on Grappa.
Only comment that the change in the passbands of Gaia is because the instrument model is being. The first one was based on theory. I mean, it was not the actual one. So. Yes, it will improve. I think there was a big improvement already in year 2 and year 3, and it should be, characterized better. So it should be stable, let's say. And the other thing is that when you use the catalogs of variable stars in Gaia, there are 2 different catalogs. Probably you are aware of that: the classifiers catalog, and those that are called vari catalogs, or something with the name of the sources. The classifier one are less pure in a way. I mean, it's a classification that has not been fully validated in some cases. So it contains more sources, but are less verified. So you have to be careful. And the flag, I think the flag was available, the variability flag in year 1 came from CU5, probably, that you would find in the Gaia source catalog. And that flag was, I think, has been removed because there were problems. So you should be aware. Now the flag is coming from the coordination unit that does the variability, and it's more stable. I'm not sure if in Gaia source is still there. If you don't find it there, you find the sources in the vari tables, basically.
Okay, any question more? No? Okay, thanks again. It is time for the coffee break. I believe it's in